My name is Jim Lind. I was hired at Tipmont REMC as a power lineman. I'm presently working as a project engineer, but I've got about 30 years experience doing line work in Alaska, Texas, and Indiana. I started work up there in 1986 for the United States Military Air Force, and average snowfall in Anchorage, Alaska is around 10 foot high. Now that sounds like a lot, but over the course of time, over the winter, that will pack down and you're talking about 6 foot high. So the lower level on a one-story house, the first window is basically covered with snow, so all you can see out of is the top window. Getting around other than with roads is snowshoes or snowmobile. Temperatures from October on range between 20 degrees above zero to 25 to 30 below zero, and you learn what packing clothes on loose layers is all about, because if you don't have loose layers on when you're working, you have to shed clothes, and you don't want to shed too much because you get cold. If you got too much on, you start sweating, and it just makes it that much worse. We work with high voltage gloves, rubber gloves with our job, and we use those for insulation for electricity. One of the things people don't know about rubber gloves, they're also conduct cold and heat. So if you're working in the summer, they amplify the heat conditions that you're working in, and in cold weather, the same thing. Your fingers freeze just in a little bit of time. So you're constantly got a pair of gloves inside your coveralls, second set of rubber gloves inside your coveralls that your body's keeping warm. You're working with one pair of gloves, and when your hands start to get cold, you'll swap those out. So that way you can stay outside for longer. And the other thing about the folks up in Alaska, they are conservative. I mean, if you're not, you'll use one light in your house, and if you go from one place to another, when people were on generator, man, they're on you like that about shutting down that light you just left the room on. And if it's cold outside, they run their refrigerators on periodic. Most of those are LP gas refrigerators. They're just very conservative, and they know what it means to ration electricity and ration all kinds of fuel. About once a year, when the weather first starts to change, and then the temperature will drop about 25 to 30 degrees in a very short period of time. So you got wet conductors because it's been raining, and then it starts to switch to snow, and that snow starts accumulating on the conductors, and then you got icing that forms on top of the wet snow, and it's before long you'll see wire that is a 1/0, which is just a little bit smaller than your thumb, in the air. It'll turn into a snow cake conductor, and sometimes it's a foot or a 1.5 feet in diameter. And when it gets heavy with that wet snow, it'll come down, break cross arms, come down, trees will go through the lines, and it'll be down on the ground in no time. And then because of the slickness and the depth of the snow, if you're not a lineman that doesn't mind climbing, you're not going to last very long in Alaska, because that's part of the job up there. You're going to be climbing a lot. So you'll just see people get their climbing gear on, and up the pole they'll go. They'll put it up just like it's routine, because it's something that happens all the time. It's just like being in Florida during lightning storms. It's the same thing with bad weather in Alaska. They know what it's about. It's nothing new to them. They just go out and they do their job.